I'd like to start today's video by shouting out a huge thank you to Cosmological, who helped take this channel from 36 subscribers all the way to 100 subscribers in just one day. I really cannot thank you enough. To all of the new people who've joined our little community, welcome. And for those of you who don't know anything about me, my name is Justin. I've been an atheist now for only about a year, but as somebody who was raised very, very Christian, I'm incredibly passionate about the harm that religion does to people, and especially children in our world today. If you'd like to find more content from me, I'm generally quite active on my Twitter at atheist.justin. I hope you all enjoy the content that I'm making here and that I can continue to entertain you with it for a long time to come. Anyway, today we'll be continuing in retroactively adding Bible stories to this series before Noah's flood. Today we'll be looking at the story of Cain and Abel, or as you may know it, the children's story about brothers murdering each other in cold blood.
Adam and Eve had the first child ever to be born on earth after God's creation.
And for some reason it seems like they want us to believe that this all happened in the garden. Either that or that the land outside the garden was pretty comparable to the land inside of it, so not really sure why it matters so much that they got thrown out.
When she gave birth to Cain, she said, "With the Lord's help, I have produced a man."
And in keeping with the tradition of woman, because I was taken from man, we will call him Woman, because he was taken from woman, who was taken from man.
Later, she gave birth to his brother and named him Abel. When they grew up, Abel became a shepherd, while Cain became a farmer.
You see, now there is the out-of-garden wasteland that I've been expecting. Now, didn't God tell Adam that man would forever work the land until they died? So, out of the two of them, it seems like Cain, the farmer, is the one who's keeping with God's commands, so I'm sure Cain is God's favorite.
When it was time for the harvest, Cain presented some of his crops as a gift to the Lord.
That sounds very generous. I mean, let's be honest, he must not have been able to grow very many in the environment they were living in.
But Abel gave the Lord his best firstborn lamb.
Okay, so they each gave part of what they produced to God. That sounds about right.
The Lord accepted Abel and his gift, but he did not accept Cain and his gift. This made Cain very angry.
Well, I would imagine so. Just because Cain is specialized as a farmer, he's getting less of a blessing from God than his brother Abel, simply because Abel happens to be a shepherd. Cain is still giving a portion of what he produces to God. Why does God have to be so picky about it?
"Why are you so angry?" the Lord asked Cain.
Like the condescending asshole he tends to be in these early stories.
"You will be accepted if you do what is right, but if you refuse to do what is right, then watch out. Sin is crouching at the door, eager to control you."
What the hell has Cain done wrong here? All that's happened so far is that both Cain and Abel sacrificed part of what they produced to God, but God decided that he's a bloodthirsty asshole and therefore does not accept Cain's offering. As per usual, I'm struggling to see God as anything more than the antagonist of all these stories.
One day Cain said to his brother, "Let's go out into the fields." While they were in the field, Cain attacked his brother and killed him.
Because God yet again decided that his creation just wasn't entertaining enough, so he had to cause some kind of conflict in order to bump up the ratings.
Afterward, the Lord asked Cain, "Where is your brother, Abel?"
Because although I'm omnipotent, I feel the compulsive need to ask a whole fuck ton of condescending rhetorical questions just to pad my ego.
"I don't know," Cain responded. "Am I my brother's keeper?" The Lord said, "What have you done? Listen, your brother's blood cries out to me from the ground."
Damn it, Cain, you were supposed to be honest when I asked you a question. That way I can keep playing dumb and not be held responsible as the all-powerful, all-knowing passive observer to anything and everything bad in the world.
"Now you are cursed and banished from the ground, which has swallowed your brother's blood. No longer will the ground produce good crops for you, no matter how hard you work. From now on, you will be a homeless wanderer on the earth."
All of this, mind you, just because God simply could not accept a plant as an offering.
Cain replied to the Lord, "My punishment is too great for me to bear. You have banished me from the land and from your presence. You have made me a homeless wanderer. Anyone who finds me will kill me."
As the only remaining son of the first two people ever on the earth, who the hell is Cain afraid of running into?
The Lord replied, "No, for I will give a sevenfold punishment to anyone who kills you." Then the Lord put a mark on Cain to warn anyone who might try to kill him.
Yes, a mark that, because it's so vaguely defined, was taken and used as a justification of slavery for centuries by Europeans and Americans, many of whom justified their enslavement of Africans by claiming that their dark skin was the mark of Cain, and therefore made them sinful and lesser than the white men.
So Cain left the Lord's presence and settled in the land of Nod, east of Eden. Adam and Eve had another son named Seth. Eve said, "God has granted me another son in place of Abel, whom Cain killed." When Seth grew up, he had a son, and named him Enosh. At that time, people began to worship the Lord and call upon his name.
So you're telling me that until Enosh, or as I've always heard it, Enoch, was born, nobody actually worshipped God? As jealous as he tends to be, I can't imagine God was very happy about that. Also, who did Seth sleep with in order to have a son? Either Adam and Eve also had daughters and Seth slept with his sister, or Seth slept with his own mother. What a lovely start to the human race. I'm from the middle of bumfuck Southville, and even most of us don't think that's cool. Anyway, this is a bit of a shorter video, but I wanted to cover this story quickly before moving on. If you enjoyed the video, please consider giving it a like and subscribing for more content in the future. Thank you all very much for watching, and as always, have a blessed day, fellow heathens.